What is going on, FA Nation? John and Pemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Playbook live show. Got 10 games here on Wednesday. Keith Eiser's got your playbook that is live over on Fantasy Alarm. You can check that out. We got a little day baseball action. A lot of runs scored, especially in that Angels-Red Sox game. Just walking it off in a 1 of 30 homer. Walk-off homer by Ceddanne Rafaela, 308 feet down the line, pesky pole, as short as it can go. Walk-off homer nonetheless. So now we turn our attention to this 10-game main slate. I appreciate all of you tuning in each and every day to support us, not only with the live show, but our preview show there as well. Grande, how are we doing, my friend?
We're doing good early slate. 10 games on the main, some pretty bad pitching, I'd say. This is not the best slate of pitching, but that means there's a lot of good offenses and a lot of good spots.
Yes, potentially for some more offense to happen here today. We are watching some weather as well. Arizona, Atlanta could have some rain in the Atlanta area for that game as well. Maybe a chance for a late start. Texas, Tampa Bay, a game that had a couple of delays, or at least a delayed start, I think it was yesterday, or maybe
no, it started in game. Yeah.
Okay, in-game delay. Sort of maybe the same thing, scattered rain in the area, so certainly could end up having a late start or an in-game delay, but certainly a matchup that we're looking to get exposure to here tonight, given the matchup there. Possibly some rain in Chicago could cause a brief early delay. Then Kansas City, St. Louis, same sort of deal here. A lot of rain in the area around first pitch could cause a delay in that one. So pay attention to the weather as you build your lineups here today. From an ownership perspective, Chris Sale is in one of those games. He's also your highest rostered pitcher of the night at $9,800. Nick Pivetta, the highest price pitcher, is number 2 as of right now. And we actually just got an update. I'll see if they making me eat my words or not there. No, Sale Pivetta still 1-2. Very interesting. Number 3 ownership pitcher. Very interesting number 4 ownership pitcher on this slate. So we'll get into all of that. But what's your impression, I guess, of the top grouping here, Pivetta, Sale?
We're going to talk about number 4 because it's, once again, we don't know who's starting. There's nothing confirmed with the Athletics again. And everyone we thought pitched last night. Jacob Lopez pitched, and then Osvaldo Bido pitched after him. So, we'll see. Obviously, Springs makes sense, but we'll see. He wasn't the initial starter going into today, and it's since changed, but nothing's confirmed. So we'll see. Nothing has changed for me in terms of the top couple of arms. You and I had kind of pointed this out last night. It's a shallow pitcher spot today, and there's 2 really good pitchers in Nick Pivetta and Chris Sale. One of them has a really tough spot. One of them doesn't. I think it's pretty cut and dry for me. Nick Pivetta looks really good. Definitely okay to spend up on 10K. Chris Sale looks like the pitcher that won the Cy Young last year, so you could play that guy against anybody with the knowledge that Arizona could hit 4 home runs and ruin your night. So I still rank those 2 pitchers greatly ahead of anyone else in the price vicinity of them.
Micah Bell, Noah Cameron, Merrill Kelly, Kyle Harrison, Clark Schmidt, Jose Barrios round out sort of your next grouping once you get off those top 2. Bell obviously looked great in his debut start against Pittsburgh. Toronto, not Pittsburgh there, so they may be a bit of a tougher matchup. Noah Cameron, again, maybe in some rain early there, but no strikeouts coming from him. Of, I guess, the 8K, 9K under range, do you have a go-to spot there?
I like Clark Schmidt. I don't mind Kyle Harrison and the jump that he took in terms of pitch count. This is also probably his last start with Verlander expected to take his turn back in the rotation the next time around.
Well, we'll see because actually Hicks was in the bullpen already, right? He just went on the IL, so
yeah. Hicks is gone. He's gone. Verlander is expected to take the Harrison spot, so obviously we'll see. But you kind of touched on it last night, like the pitch count jump from one start to the next was tremendous. So,
and this is a great spot for him, actually. I mean, just from recency bias, last 2 weeks, San Diego 27th against left-handed pitching in WOBA. Isolated power number, San Diego is sitting 18th at 127. They have a 180 batting average, dead last in baseball against left-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. They still aren't striking out. They don't strike out, only a 17% strikeout rate there, but some really bad numbers for them against lefties over the last couple of weeks here. You know, I say like, we'll see. I mean, sure, it was Miami. He one hit them, 80 pitches, 5 innings, got pulled. If he goes out there and throws another like 6+ inning shutout, you know, there's going to have to be some conversation, I think, in San Francisco with the way he and Birdsong have pitched lately. Do you go back to the 40-something-year-old, or do you trust your two like top pitching prospects there? Even Rupp last night pitched really good. Like, do you trust your young arms right now, you know?
Yeah. I guess it's definitely like it's worth the discussion. And I don't disagree, but like we also know this has been like, it's like, why wouldn't they use this player?
And they did actually call him up to be in the bullpen first, right? And then the only reason he entered it, so that bullpen spot's still there for him to return to. It's just I'm very curious. We talk about that all the time, like you said, the way teams handle some of these players. Sometimes it's like you're gonna take the better pitcher and take him out and put him in the old man who like hasn't looked all that great, you know. So
yeah, and that honestly, my mind really hasn't changed on that unless he just like, if there's a setback for Verlander again and Harrison makes another couple starts and he's like undeniable at that point. But I like Harrison. Clark Schmidt, I think, looks pretty good. We actually just had a comment about lefties. So peripherally on the season, he does. Under the hood, it's actually pretty good. 231 ISO, 141 expected ISO, so almost 100 points better. 346 WOBA, 292 expected WOBA, 50 points better. 22% K rate. Like, it's all pretty good under the hood stuff. And you and I talk about that all the time. Like, numbers can be deceiving at times.
Yeah, the Chris Sale numbers, right? Early on in the year.
The Chris Sale numbers, right? And now he looks as good as he did last year. Like, I think you look at the Cleveland offense, and they are going to throw a lot of lefties at him, obviously, but they're not. Which of those lefties
Manzardo
is like the ones that are concerning? So
this isn't the Phillies, right? You know, where you got to deal with Schwarber and Harper. You know, like
I mean, their lineup is Kwan, Martinez, Ramirez, Santana. So 4 lefties straight. Manzardo 5, Schneemann 6. Arias hits from the right side, so he's the only one. So they have 8 lefties. Of that tier is like Jose Ramirez, the one you have to worry about. Like Manzardo hits home runs, but Manzardo from first week of the season to now is not the same player. He has 10 home runs. He had like 8 in the first.
Yeah, he's hitting a lot earlier.
Month. Yeah. So like, yes, there was a lefty problem and there is surface level, but a lot of under the hood
need to
stuff.
ask Brandon Pfaadt about that, right? You know, sometimes it just.
Yes, true. So I like those 2 pitchers. I dip below 8K. I have a hard time not looking at Zebby Matthews and just like, I will play your strikeout upside into the ground if I have. Like, if he gets blown up, whatever. Dude, these numbers for him are sick. I mean, 37% strikeout rate versus righties, 31% strikeout rate against lefties. All the expected stuff looks really good. Outside the power against lefties, but it's only been, a small sample. 6.43 ERA, 2.48 xFIP. I mean, the batted ball luck has been terrible. Over 400 from both sides of the plate. Like, it's just not sustainable. And maybe it is in this ballpark.
This is going to bring about one of those, like, what wins situation. So the last 2 weeks, and we know the Athletics are not winning games. They are like 1-18 over their last, like, whatever.
They're horrible. Horrible team.
Second highest strikeout rate versus right-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. 27.5%. High strikeout rate. But that comes with a 350 WOBA, a 188 ISO, and a 260 batting average. So, like, they're either hitting hitting home runs or they're striking out, right? So Matthews only one walk in each of the last two. Nice, right? Like keeping the walks under control here. Did give up 2 first-inning home runs to Seattle. Kyle Raleigh got to him and somebody else. But he can miss bats. And if like Jacob Wilson isn't in the lineup again, that's a big contact guy that you take out of that lineup. It gets things going for that team. And there's a lot of guys that strike out in that lineup from Soderstrom, Rooker, Butler, and whatnot. So, yes, super dangerous. It's a 10:05 start as well. So, like, he could be in your lineup. You could have a nice-looking lineup. And then all of a sudden, like, it gets blown up on you. It's like Giolito today or Abbott or something like that, right? So, but I'm with you there. If you're talking just pure upside, Kansas City with an 18% strikeout rate, he had 9 strikeouts against them. Seattle, not a huge strikeout team this year, 7 strikeouts right against them. So, and we know this kid is super talented. And another one where if you just look below the hood, his 6 ERA is matched with like a 280 like xFIP. You know, like it's some pretty ridiculous numbers there. So, I kind of ride with you on that. Gonsolin numbers, I'm not in there. Home runs for him against righties or lefties rather, like huge bad numbers for him from the home run department. Not going to do Michaelis, even with Kansas City struggles there. You mentioned we don't know who's going to pitch. If it is Springs, we certainly aren't going there. His home numbers are as bad as Severino's are. Kumar Rocker, a guy that could be on a pitch count, but also horrific numbers against left-handed hitters, and we know Tampa Bay loading that lineup. You know, maybe Gibson Long, but you highlighted that they didn't let him pitch all that long in his minor league rehab outing, so he could see 60 pitches maybe in this game, which brings us to Cade Povich, who is getting a ton of ownership tonight at $5,700 against Seattle. We had a comment earlier from Anthony. I can't believe Povich is getting 19%.
I don't know if that's because he's also saying sales 38. I don't know if that's because he thinks it's too high or too low. That comment's
Warren says respect Povich season.
Yeah, I disagree.
Wow.
I'm in full disagreement.
Postponed tonight, so already canceled.
Honestly, great. 9-game slate. Don't have to worry about targeting my. Yeah, honestly, great because I won't have to lose money to Miles Michaelis anymore. 6 scoreless, 8 strikeouts for no reason for Michaelis would have come. I am a little surprised at the Cade Povich stuff. Because there's a lot of really bad peripherals for Cade Povich. And, like, he's pretty good against lefty. First off, he's bad in the power. He allows a lot of power. There's a lot of power.
Home run to fly ball rate.
180. Yeah, 189 ISO to lefties, 184 ISO to righties. And then the expected stuff is even worse. His expected ISO to righties is 110 points higher at 294. His WOBA is 368. His expected WOBA is 420. With a 20% K rate. Seattle is a above average offense against left-handed pitching this year. And I actually really enjoy the lineup that they put out there. Subtle change, but they're hitting Cal Raleigh second tonight. Get that guy the most at-bats possible. Instead of this, like, well, one day it's Polanco, one day it's Garver. No, we don't need to hit either of those players second. Hit Cal Raleigh there. Shoot, lead Cal Raleigh off at this point. Like, it will be 1-0. the numbers, even under the hood, don't look great for Povich against righties. 4.33 xFIP, 1.5 home runs per 9, 36% fly ball rate. Like I don't. The price is fine. The ballpark is fine. Obviously, we've highlighted how good of a hitting or pitching environment it's been in years past. A lot of home runs being hit there this year, and like I feel like this is one of those things. Well, if Sugano can just shut him down yesterday, well then shoot, can't this talented young pitcher
not always.
That's not how that
and
works.
Obviously, the numbers don't look great. This could just also be a situation like we talked about a lot of times where, I mean, he does have almost a 10K per 9, right? It's like 9 strikeouts in 2 of the last 3. In a game he lost and gave up 5 runs, he got almost 12 fantasy points at 5,700 on a slate where we just ran it down. I mean, there's 4 usable pitchers, and the highest rostered pitcher gets Arizona. So it could just be punt, right? Like I'll take my chances with spending up an offense and hope that I get this line, and 12 fantasy points might be enough for my SB2 today.
Yeah, and he's not pitching in Baltimore, which he hasn't been able to pitch all year. He has been terrible.
Give me a 4 ERA tonight, 13.7 fantasy points, right? And you're a winner at 5.7.
Yeah. And you know what? Like if that's your lane, fine.
That's just me trying to explain the ownership.
I still think
I think that's the only thing I could see it, like the reasoning for it.
I do think that there's blow up potential.
Of course, this guy's given up 5 earned runs multiple times this year. But he's number 3. He's 19%. Jeffrey Springs, again, who we don't know is actually pitching. It just got an update. He's almost actually, we just got another update. Povich now 23%. Sale up to 38. Pivetta 26. Springs is still around 16. Schmidt 16. Shane Baz. I mean, do you want to talk about Shane Baz here? A guy that was looking good for a little bit against Houston and then came back out, gave up a leadoff home run in like the 6th inning to Altuve. It's really struggled. Strikeouts have disappeared. Gets Texas, an offense we know has struggled. Righties are the ones doing the damage to Shane Baz right now. So, sure, they have Corey Seager back in their lineup, but it could be a Wyatt Langford day or an Adolis Garcia, something like that. But Baz at 78 is getting some love at home. Not my favorite. It's just I don't really know. I don't think there's a clear cut number 2. I liked Kyle Harrison going in. He's 10%. I might just kind of stick there, and play that play. There's
not 80% humidity in Tampa in that small ballpark tonight. It's hard. It's hard to want to use a pitcher in that game, right? And the righties are obviously scary. Wyatt Langford double dominance.
Very, very possible. Right? All right, go to catcher. Kyle Raleigh, as you mentioned, hitting second now. $5,500 for him there. Will Smith, Ivan Herrera, Austin Wells, Langeliers, Rutschman, and Murphy round out the 4K. They took away our Drake Baldwin play, which
dude, they just he hit a home run. They can't afford for him to be too good, because then what's the explanation for the Sean Murphy contract?
I would agree with you, and this is probably right. Mr. White Russian, great drink. A little possible. We on the preview show did Dingler and Jeffers. Again, not knowing who is pitching for the Athletics, we're still kind of okay with Jeffers regardless here. Then Dingler getting Schuster at $3,900. We're kind of spots we picked last night. Has anything really changed for you, a catcher, today?
Has anything really changed? No, I mean, they hit Jeffers second yesterday. Kirk hitting fourth looks pretty good. Tice being in the lineup looks great at 31. But and then you could punt if you want, but there's nothing that stands out a catcher. Very boring catcher position today. Everyone's just going to play Ryan Jeffers.
First base position when you're coming and looking at the ownership here today. Obviously, you can play Ohtani. He is your highest rostered first baseman by double. After him, it's Ty France in the mid-tier, Pete Alonso in the top tier, around 10%.
Yeah, you had talked about the Gonsolin power. Specific to lefties. He does not.
I think it's well over 3 homers per 9 versus lefties.
It's 2.2 versus lefties and 2.5 against righties. But the righties, he strikes out 40% of the time, which I also think is crazy.
11%.
Lefties,
So that's what I was looking at when I did the research earlier. 7.3 FIP, 611 xFIP versus lefties, the 11% strikeout rate, the 540 slug. Yeah, it's all bad versus lefties.
It's bad. It's all bad.
That's what I was remembering.
All bad. But like it's funny because then he has super elevated fly ball and hard hit rate against righties and 263 xFIP and like all this stuff is like, oh, maybe he's not that bad against righties, but like everything's hit hard and in the air. So maybe he's just bad. So yeah, I'm not against Alonso. I'm just saying, I was just pointing out like he has served up home runs to both splits quite a bit here. I'm good with basically everyone.
Okay. What do we make of Berrios' last start?
Maybe he was really good, and the numbers still really reflect that he can't pitch to righties.
Seeing where we're at with Harper, who homered yesterday. Aranda, 40. Let's just get into the Kumar Rocker numbers, I guess, and hope this game stays weather clear. Aranda, $4,600, continues to just rake 400,000 OPS over his last 10.
Yep.
And then if you caught the morning show, you got our live reaction to me looking at the Fangraphs page splits for Kumar Rocker. Last year, he was actually pretty filthy in his 3 starts, held on to a 180 average. This year, not so much. 432 batting average, 659 slug, 477 WOBA, 1.9 homers per 9 inning, xFIP and FIP well over 5, a 2.3 whip, of almost a 450 batting average in balls in play, a 10% strikeout rate versus left-handed hitters. And if you don't know this about the Tampa Bay Rays, they have quite a few lefties at the top of their lineup. So Aranda at $4,600. I am surprised to see ownership where no one's playing Jonathan Aranda here today. No one's really playing Brandon Lau. No one's really playing Josh Lowe. So if we're going to get some low roster Rays in our lineup today, that could be enough for us.
Yeah, I think it's because it's hard to gauge Kumar Rocker, right? Like he's had 7 big league starts in his career. Half of them have been really good and half have been really bad. I mean, I love Aranda and the lefties in general. And in that ballpark, like it doesn't hurt. They have 6 in their lineup tonight, I think. I think Yandy, Caminero, and Caballero were the 3 righties for Tampa in their lineup. So Kumar Rocker's gonna get a healthy dosage of lefties, but dude, nobody but you're the biggest Jonathan Aranda respecter around 3%. Like that's a great tournament play.
That's kind of where I'm at here today at $4,600. Where else are you looking to go at first today?
I mean, I like Ben Rice. If you're playing Yankees lefties, Luis Ortiz has a lefty problem. Can't play Cags, that kind of stinks. Can't play Paz, that kind of stinks. Yeah, I don't have like a desire to spend down. I would, just to buck the trend. Like if Jared Young started, I would play Jared Young because the lefties. I wouldn't hate Donovan Solano, but like there's nothing really exciting. I didn't mention Ty France. If Jeffrey Springs is the starter, Ty France. And even if Jeffrey Springs isn't, and the Athletics go like bullpen game,
just play him, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, we saw it last night, right? Like, bullpen game meant nothing. They got into all these pitchers, Blake Castro double dong, and you get a good actual like serviceable performance basically from everyone in the lineup, like other than Carlos Correa. He was the only zero in that whole game. So, yeah, under 4K, like France is the obvious. We didn't really mention Ohtani.
Well, I mean, I mentioned he was double the ownership.
Yeah, I mean, goddamn, he is getting so, and that's partly due to the position eligibility. But man, like these are the slates where I really hate fading Ohtani.
Where if he homers, 25% of the field is going to have the homer.
Yeah, and like Griffin Canning, like the peripheral numbers
starting to look a little bit more like Griffin Canning the last.
Yeah, but they still like the peripheral numbers still look pretty good. But 192 expected ISO to lefties is not good.
Yeah.
192 expected ISO against Shohei Ohtani does not work. So, God, that's why Cade Povich is getting so much ownership. So you can play Shohei.
Probably. Second base position. Again, I mentioned liking Rays. I see Coach Chris in the chat. What's up, Coach Chris? Happy to have you here with us. He said he had a lot of Tampa, but wasn't worried about the weather. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of the same way, right? If Ross updates us in an hour and says like washout, then all right. But with hitters, I mean, the weather, if the game's going to play through, you don't really care as much about the hitters. Yep. The pitchers you worry about, which maybe impacts Rocker, but you know, I'm still in on Baltimore there. Even Royce Lewis had a hit last night. We'll talk about that. So again, I like Lowe. No one's playing him tonight. Where are you looking to go at second base?
Brandon Lau is a good call.
Lau, yeah.
Jazz, if you're playing lefties, had a nice return to.
No one's playing him either.
To the Yankees lineup. Dylan Moore, I think, just again, I'm going to mention Seattle just as a counter to Povich. I think Seattle does have a lot of good lefties in their lineup. You could play Jackson Holiday. Ernie Hancock has been terrible against lefties this year. 212 ISO, 376 WOBA, and that's accompanied by 198 expected ISO, 380 expected WOBA, so terrible stuff. 2 home runs per 9 innings. For a ground baller, 38% fly ball rate trumps his elevated ground ball rate. Over 4 walks per 9 innings to lefties too. So I don't mind the Jackson Holiday leadoff experience. I think we just got the Orioles lineup actually. Holiday, Rutschman, Henderson, O'Hearn. So 4 lefties. Welcome to Leftyville. Cowser hitting 6.
They just slide in Urias for no reason and then have Cowser to break it up.
Just to break it up, and then you end with 2 more lefties at the end.
And Carlson.
So 7 lefties.
Cowser homered last night. I mean, I don't know, whatever. It's fine.
7 left, dude. Gunnar 2 hits, Rutschman 2 hits, O'Hearn 2 hits, Cowser homered, Kjerstad RBI double, Carlson 2 hits. Like, yeah. So we've talked about it. They just coming off a sweep. They're looking good offensively.
Offensively, they should not have been as bad as they were. And now that they're healthy, I mean, they're still waiting for Jordan Westberg to come back. But overall, healthy team. I don't know if Adley Rutschman's ever going to hit again, but maybe he will. But pitching has obviously been the biggest issue. Maybe they can trade, Kjerstad and Mayo for Trevor Rogers or something like that.
Sounds like a good deal. It sounds like a
good deal. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like a good deal. Yeah. I would, for the record, play Holiday and Baltimore. Really, really nicely affordable team. Because now that Gunner's price is in the toilet, nobody's expensive at all.
Mm-hmm.
So Holiday stands out to me in this tier as well.
Ownership wise, Stott is your top guy so far as of now as it stands. Brooks Lee is the punt at $2,800.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Is getting your ownership there because again, you're just getting your Minnesota.
Yep.
Love there.
Did you see his hit by the way last night? So he had a hit and it was a ground ball, right?
Yeah.
That he never touched first base on.
Okay.
And the Athletics ruled or decided to not challenge the play. A play that Brooks Lee never touched first, which I found very wild. But yeah, never touched first. That was his hit. So I thought I'd
Okay.
well, we're Brooks Lee / Twins apologists, but don't know why the Athletics were. They were throwing in plain sight. That's what people would say.
Carlson 2+ bases at +175. I actually like that. I don't mind that. It's been good. Ramirez hitting third, $5,700. Machado, Eugenio, Riley, your top 4 there. Ownership at third base today is Royce Lewis, double the field.
Yeah, he did have some good at bats last night.
Where is he?
He's 3K.
Jesus.
He did have some good at bats. He hit one off the wall. He drew a really nice walk. Like, his first at bats were terrible. His next couple at bats,
he's not this bad, obviously, but like, he was never that. I guess we can't say he was ever that good, but he's not 0 for 32 bad.
No, he was. Well, he had that stretch where he looked like he was the best player in the history.
9 grand slams in like a week.
Yeah, he hit it was yeah. I get it, and I also am terrified of playing someone who's that highly rostered when they've been this
Wouldn't you
terrible.
just rather play Muncy right now with the way he's going with the glasses and all? Like,
with the glasses.
That's
only because
seeing is a very important part of baseball, and he now can see.
I'm not denying. I'm not.
Dude, he double donged.
I'm not disputing that.
Yeah,
I'm not disputing. I don't think this is a narrative. You're just able. If I take my glasses off, I can tell you that no numbers on my screen. If I put my glasses on, I'm a whole different person.
For 50% less ownership on the field, you can play Max Muncy over Royce Lewis. Aren't you doing it? And I get it. There's $800 difference here, but like, I'd rather do that.
Well, that's really $800 for still too cheap because the guy has hit 1 billion home runs in the last.
If you want
month,
another guy, same price point, Addison Barger, also hitting 1 billion home runs.
Poe Degen just went 6 to midnight.
4 straight days with a homer for Addison Barger. I've showed you the StatCast page for a month. I'm like, dude, this guy's numbers are all
he's so good. No, he's
all super red, and he's hitting in the middle of their lineup. And now he's got Micah Bell, homered off the bullpen last night again, but gets the righty lefty matchup. I'll just share the tab.
It's sick. It's sick,
dude. Elite power numbers for Addison Barger here. So, again, 50% of the field is 50 more percent of the field is playing Lewis. They're 15%, 14%, 7% is on Barger, 7-8% on Muncy. Like, I'd rather play those two than play Royce Lewis just because of the ballpark.
Yeah. Agreed. And I'd be remiss to mention Junior Caminero at Exists in the World at 4K.
Another guy with a lot of power.
And is hitting home runs.
This guy, again, I said it on the show last night, he's a walking 30-homer season. It just took him a little bit to get there, but now he's halfway there, and we're not halfway over. So
I was just saying that might be underselling it. It might be 40. Yeah. It might be 40.
You might have 35 by the time. In that ballpark, might have 35 by the time the year's over.
Yeah.
So, shortstop. Up at the top, again, a lot of top-tier plays here. A couple of guys we consider to be mispriced. Top guy is Carlos Correa, who you've played a lot of lately in the mid-range at $3,700. I will say the current ownership I'm looking at still includes the St. Louis Cardinals game. So when that game does eventually update through this system, I'm sure some ownership will adjust here. But Mookie Betts and Lindor are your two highest rostered guys in terms of spend ups.
Yeah, I mean, the Lindor home run feels inevitable. Him or Soto. I made Soto the cover of the show today. They're both homering a lot. So I think Lindor home run. I think Trey Turner's a sneaky home run candidate tonight. Hit 2 last night. Really, really good spot for righties against Jose Barrios. And no one's going to play Trey Turner, at least compared to like Correa. He's 2.5x less ownership. So I think you can basically play any of the top guys like Turner, Lindor, Mookie, and feel pretty good about it. I mean,
Gunnar and
Gunnar,
Seager,
I'd
obviously.
still play Seager. Yeah, I'd still play Seager too. Like,
Then I mentioned, obviously, Correa is getting your ownership there, $3,700. Just get him in that ballpark. And if it is a lefty, even better with Springs.
Dude, can we just it
feels confident that Springs will probably pitch tonight. We just don't know when. Might not open, right?
We thought that about Osvaldo Bido and didn't see him until the 7th inning last night.
So you were like, "Oh, we're getting Bido tomorrow," because Lopez came out of the bullpen, and then later on, Bido came out of the bullpen.
Bido came out of the bullpen, dude. And again, their staff sucks. I'd play any Twins.
Ronnie went 0 for 4, but I'd go back to the well in 2K.
Same.
No hesitation. All right, outfield. Again, super high, expensive plays here. Can spend up for whom you want. Ohtani is your top overall guy on the slate today with that dual position eligibility. And then, to no surprise, Byron Buxton is your next guy there. 2 for 5 last night. RBI machine. Could get a lefty in Springs. He's probably homering tonight. If you made me bet a homer, I'd probably bet Buxton. Dude's electric right now.
Gun to head, that's your homer? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I like that. I would say he's in the top 3 for me, and I don't. It's between him, Soto, and Caminero would be my 3 picks for home runs. So
I do think Brandon Lau homers as well, but I think Buxton, if I had to pick one, would be the guy there.
Just one. Yeah, I mean, I guess I topped out. I picked 3 guys, so it's
I would go ahead. I pick this guy. I take the field. I'd take 7 guys here. Kerry Carpenter scratched tonight.
Play the White Sox. Just kidding. Anthony, I saw a comment from Anthony earlier that said something about is playing the attacking the White Sox lineup a sneaky advantage? No, never sneaky advantage.
Not usually.
No.
Bender had J-Rod in his underdog picks today against Povich at $5,200. He had the over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs for him.
I like it, dude. I like it.
Below him is Josh Lowe.
Below him is Josh.
Yep. Wyatt Langford, 4,800. As I mentioned, Boz, the righties are giving him the issues right now. So certainly that would be something to look at. Belly in play, O'Hearn, all Baltimore basically in play against our friend Hancock there.
Earn Dog? The fake Earn Dog?
Who?
Who's fake Earn Dog?
Oh,
Ernie Hancock. Yeah, Ernie Hancock, and then the real Earn Dog.
We just got an ownership update. Let's see if pitching changed. Nope. Same.
Everyone's still playing Cade
Povich.
And Jeffrey Springs, which is a shocker.
How can you I think Jeffrey Springs, all these Minnesota Twins high ownership and Jeffrey Springs high ownership?
I think Jeffrey Springs is a good pitcher, but
almost every position, a Twin is the top 4
in
ownership. But Springs is there. Harrison Bader's getting a lot of love today. Aaron Judge is 10%. Your Yankees are up there. Let's see. Pajes is always good. If you aren't on Zebby, obviously Soderstrom, Butler, Rooker, a lot of power in that ballpark. You can go Oppo. All relatively cheap,
really
for sure.
Cheap. And Butler's in one of those modes right now. He's kind of in God mode that he was in last year that made us excited for Lawrence Butler. He is every game multi-hit, every game double, every game home run, like extra base hit for Lawrence Butler.
Colton Cowser homered in his return. I mean, I don't love the spot in the lineup today for whatever reason, but like
no, they hit him 6 yesterday.
He was like their leadoff guy last year.
I know, but I think it's probably like
it's just because Adley is a switch hitter that they bat him where they bat him. So
correct, and that's what the Urias thing does too, right? Like you have the 2 breaks right there where you can flip. You can't like go. You do have like some righty lefty in there. I think 6 is good, dude. Hancock can't get lefty.
No, I mean, I still like him at 4K, no doubt about it. Again, if you aren't Sale, I mean, again, Arizona's a really good team. You have Lourdes hitting third. Like, you know, I know it's Chris Sale, but if you want to go against the field today, Arizona's a really good offense. So
they are.
Let's see. I mean, you mentioned obviously lefties potentially an issue for Schmidt. Even though they don't have a ton of like Martinez. Big name lefties, they do have a lot of lefties. Berrios has had some troubles versus lefties in the past.
Give me to my boy Willie.
3K, right? Castro?
32. Double dong. You know what's funny? I remember a couple years ago how good he was from the right side of the plate, and those splits have not bared out until last night when he took Jacob Lopez deep twice, and I was like, yep, that's the Willie Castro I remember. Just smacking lefty pitching around. And they hit him 5th. He'll be mega chalk, even though he doesn't have the second base eligibility. If they hit him 5th again, and Jeffrey Springs is announced the pitcher.
Tauchman leading off again.
Then Tauchman. Hey, you know what? Like, they used a lot of pitchers yesterday because they did the bullpen game. And Gibson Long's like not going to.
Yeah, we don't think he's going to pitch a ton.
So he hasn't pitched since 2023.
Yeah, I know.
So
he gave a shout to Class A last night.
Yeah, Toronto, just like cheap.
Yeah, Meisner's the lefty,
right? Toronto.
Sure.
Grishik hitting 5th. Kerstad 27. Dylan Carlson.
Yeah, all the way down here, right? 25. Yeah, 25.
Yeah, 25. I think we used Dylan Carlson
use him right now.
Example last night. If you got 7 fantasy points from Dylan Carlson tonight, you'd feel pretty good about like how the rest of your roster construction shaped out.
Are we doing like this? Pavetta, Zabby, Carlson?
Yeah.
And then what's Arando?
Who's your top stack?
It's Twins. It's Twins and Rays for me. You like Baltimore too, though, I know.
Yeah, I mean, I think either Tampa or Baltimore is a GPP winning stack because no one's playing them. I also think the Mets could win tournaments because the home run problem that Gonsolin has, right? We didn't really talk Brett Beatty, but he's like another one that could homer off Gonsolin with the lefty issue. So I don't care. I love Tampa for the record. So if we want to build a core around Tampa, I am 100%
in. Give me another 1 or 2 plays.
Doug, I agree. Totally rested, fresh to go. You know, we're closer to 2026 than we are to 2024. But you know, give me.
You get an A's lineup.
Oh man, is Springs the pitcher?
Sterner.
Dude, I'm telling you, people are just. He's actually, I think, a good reliever.
Well, he's
Justin Sterner. Yeah, he's their like best relief pitcher. They should honestly just start Mason Miller so they actually have a chance to pitch him in a game, right? Like, when's the last time
Mason Miller wasn't he a starter when he came up?
He was.
Didn't we have the Miller almost no hitters against each other? Remember that start?
Mason Miller started and almost had a no hitter.
Yes. Right.
Yes, and then he came into the next year and said, "You don't throw enough strikes."
You throw 105 though, so
yeah.
All right, so we're doing like Correa and Buxton, I guess. Can we make this work here? All right,
that's our core.
Pavetta, Matthews, Aranda, Muncy, Correa, Carlson, Buxton. We'll finish the lineup in the Discord. You guys know where to go for that. If not, the link's in the description, or go to fantasyalarm.com. We got the 7-day free trial going on, pointing to it.
Dude, honestly, I'm so happy that Jeffrey Springs isn't starting, because people just like, oh, it's got to be Jeffrey Springs because the internet it's like the A's have not. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. Nothing they're doing is making any sense.
So anyways, 7-day free trials going on. Scan the QR code, get the Discord in your account or in the link in the description of the show. Bender popping in right as we leave a Rhonda So Sexy. And then
where did he say that? I don't even see that. Where? No, I see that. I'm like scrolling
all the way at the bottom.
The chat. I don't even. Nah, he's not there.
Maybe.
The last thing I see is
maybe he blocked
Doug.
you. Maybe he blocked
rules.
All right, we'll have the preview show for Thursday. I forget if we have a live show tomorrow or not. Is there night baseball tomorrow? We haven't had a live show on Thursday in a little bit because of the schedule. So I don't know.
If there's 5 games,
we'll see us. Yeah, we'll see you Friday. Till then.